Welcome back to the Concrete Briefing, the only spot where the streets meet the truth and the culture gets documented with the precision it deserves. I am your host, Carter Concrete. Today, we are breaking down a monumental shift in the tectonic plates of hip-hop, the return of the Silver Surfer. The wave god himself, Max B, alongside his brother-in-arms, French Montana. We're analyzing the iconic 2026 sit-down featuring these two giants, alongside legends, Fat Joe and Jadakiss. This isn't just an interview. It is a masterclass in resilience, a deep dive into the independent hustle, and a testament to the cultural roots that built an empire. Grab your seats because the wave is about to crash, and we're going to explore the psychological, linguistic, and economic layers behind this legendary reunion. Let's talk facts. Max B has been incarcerated for 17 years and 10 months, nearly 2 decades in what he calls the belly of the beast. Yet, when he walked out in 2026, the charisma was dripping and the flow was intact. Max B represents a level of mental fortitude that is statistically rare in any industry, let alone one as volatile as music. While most individuals would be psychologically decimated by a 25-year sentence, Max argues that he adjusted the very next day, focusing entirely on the exit strategy rather than the walls surrounding him. To understand this, we must look at the linguistic roots of his wave. It wasn't just a trend. It was a lifestyle characterized by specific lingo and melodies that reflected the grit of the hood. Behind the bars, Max displayed a profound psychological stability. He wasn't consumed by envy for French Montana's massive success. Instead, he describes crying with happiness, seeing his brother on television. This demonstrates a set of street ethics where loyalty transcends physical confinement. Now, let's pivot to the thriller-like ascent of French Montana. French isn't just a rapper. He is moving like a global diplomat. He recently shared a story that sounds like a Hollywood script, his connection with the legitimate princess of Dubai, while skeptics like Fat Joe initially viewed this as phony baloney. French verified the authenticity of the relationship. This princess, a member of the royal family, even attended Max B's welcome home party. How does a kid from the Bronx, originally from Morocco, bridge the gap to a royal palace? French argues it was facilitated by his cultural history and religious identity. Being Muslim allowed him to navigate the cultural nuances of the Middle East with a level of diplomatic immunity that most Western artists lack. We have to look at the roots. French immigrated at 13, speaking only French, hence the name. He couldn't rely on traditional paths like sports or college, so he developed a hustle that became global. He is arguably the most famous Moroccan in history, performing for 70,000 people at the African Cup with billions watching. His ability to bridge the Bronx and Dubai isn't luck. It's a strategic leverage of his heritage. This is where the Concrete Briefing wants you to pay close attention. We are looking at the Fat Joe blueprint for independence. Major labels are often nothing more than glorified banks. Fat Joe illustrated this with a chilling anecdote. One day he had a massive promotional poster at Atlantic Records. The next, it was ripped down to make room for the next artist. Joe argued that the real wealth is in the underground and independence. He provided the factual breakdown. He sold 500,000 records independently and netted $3.5 million, a figure that far exceeds the $1 million advances labels use to lure artists into debt. French Montana followed this blueprint to the letter. When the labels refused to fund the video for Unforgettable, French bet $1 million of his own money on himself. The result? The song went diamond. This illustrates a shift in the evolving economy of music where self-investment is the only path to true ownership. We cannot analyze this story without acknowledging the linguistic and cultural history of the New York sound. Max B and Fat Joe took time to honor the impact of Big L. Max B revealed a fascinating psychological insight. During his rise, he had to stop listening to the Locks. Their sound was so dominant and their New York punchline style so infectious that he feared it would bleed into his own artistry. He had to consciously distance himself to create the unique wave. New York hip-hop is built on punchlines and drama. Big L is cited as a primary influence because his flow never gets outdated. Here we go one-on-one with the biggest names on the block to prove his lyrical mettle. This lineage shows that Max B's charisma isn't an accident. It is a continuation of a New York tradition that prioritizes style and substance over fleeting trends. As we wrap this briefing, let's look at the future. Why Coke Wave 3.5? The story is almost comedic in its honesty. French and Max were so chemically elevated during their original run that they literally skipped Volume 3. They went from 2 to 4, and now they are finally filling in the missing piece for the fans. Max B's return is met with global interest. On his first day out, he dropped a 24-song mixtape with another 22-song project ready to go. The economy has changed, the internet has taken over, but the talent is described as beyond, and the flow remains unmatched. The saga of French Montana and Max B is a story of unwavering loyalty. It is the story of a brother who waited nearly 18 years, kept the brand alive, and ensured that when the Silver Surfer finally touched down, the world was ready to ride the wave. They refused to let the dirty section of the internet define them, choosing instead to let their independent success speak for itself. This has been the Concrete Briefing. I am Carter Concrete. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell to stay informed on new movements that actually matter.